In our last and final chapter of how war impacts your investments, we would like to cover what are investors supposed to do in those situations. Hello and welcome to our channel. This is Fun Runway and I'm Rahul. So when there is a war, a citizen or a person living in that particular country would ideally want to protect his or her liquid assets. Now liquid assets are something that you can sell quickly and get whatever you require or need immediately. So things like cash, gold are primary examples of liquid assets. Now in the recent past, cryptocurrency is considered one of those liquid assets that you can easily liquidate. Now the challenge with that I foresee is that similar to the restrictions that will be set up on your stock market portfolio, there may also be a restriction set up on your crypto portfolio. That again convinces me that in this particular situation, an asset like cash or gold may be something that would help the person much more than crypto. This is my personal opinion. This seems to be the case for now and it may change in the future. The second asset class I would like to talk about is real estate. Real estate, as I said before, will be a high risk, high reward kind of an asset during the course of a war. If you've not seen my earlier video, please do check out this link. To reiterate, the risk will be high because there is always a fear that the property that you've invested in actually is burned down to ashes due to a bomb. That is the reason the prices of real estate will go down. This brings an opportunity for certain kinds of investors, but not particularly for a retail investor. Nevertheless, I wanted to address this option and I wanted you to know what happens to real estate as an asset class. The last and final part of this video will not be addressed to an investment or to an asset class, but will actually involve you getting out of the country. Ideally, you should have enough liquid assets that will fund the passage for your family to a country where there is no war. This depends on a lot of ifs and buts, but there are a few things that can be put into place in advance. For example, one would be having a visa of another country where you can easily move to that country. Second would be to have a citizenship of another country. And the third would of course be the funds to actually facilitate number one and number two. In such cases, one other thing is all the more important. If you have all your investments or eggs in one basket, that is in one country, and if that country goes to war, your investments will fall to zero. This again brings up an age-old investment principle, which is diversification. That is, you should have your investments or your eggs in other baskets. Now, you do not need to go out and diversify your entire portfolio to an extreme, but make sure that some portion of your investment is linked to the economy of a country which is not your primary place of residence. This is very important. In the unfortunate situation that you are in a country where there is a war and you need to move out, when you do move out, you do not need to start from scratch. You have some investments which you had diversified to another country earlier, which you can now use to rebuild your investment portfolio and, more importantly, rebuild your life. With that, we conclude this section and these set of chapters on how a war impacts your investments. To do a quick recap, what we covered in chapter 1, 2 and 3 respectively are: in chapter 1, we covered perspectives. Basically, it means how a war impacts you depending on where you are positioned during the war. If you are in an active role, that is, you're actively involved in the economy of that country, or in a passive role where you are outside the countries at war. Second chapter covered what happens to your investments during the war. Now, depending on what kind of assets those are and what kind of measures the government will take, your investments may remain as is or in fact grow, or may not make it post the war. Third chapter covered what a commoner or a retail investor can probably do in such an unfortunate situation. It is necessary to have the knowledge base set up. There is no harm in having that knowledge, and that is exactly the reason why I addressed this topic in our last few videos. I hope this has been of some help to you in terms of increasing your knowledge, and if you found it interesting, please like, subscribe and support us on our channel Fun Runway. With that, I'll see you on our next video. Till then, take care and see you soon.